Well, hello, wealthy women. You know that I am about to bring you another amazing success story. And this one truly speaks to my heart because, in my opinion, it is the foundational piece of everything that you do in your life. And, well, you know what? I'm going to let the expert tell you all about her work. Let me go ahead and pass this over. Jennifer, go ahead and tell everybody who you are, what you do, why you do it, how you can help, and all the good things. And then we're going to go ahead and start our success questions as well.
Okay, great. Thank you so much for having me today. It's such
My
an honor.
pleasure.
Yes. I was known I was known as a yes woman for decades. I said yes to everyone and everything. And I was blessed to have a coach come into my life after I got out of a narcissistic, emotionally abusive relationship. I met her at a party. I wasn't looking for her. She found me. And she was a gift. The first day we worked together, she told me, you have to hold yourself accountable here. You chose this relationship. You're not the victim and you have self-esteem issues. And I thought, well, kick me when I'm down. But after a few minutes, I realized I needed to hear this. I needed that tough love. And with that, I decided in that moment that I deserved my own love, that I deserved to be worthy, and that I was going to do whatever it took to love myself. That was where my journey to self love began. I was fortunate. She helped me heal my inner child very quickly. And today I get to be that coach for women who say yes all the time, who are looking for that approval or validation from others. And that is that search for love. You look for love, but you're getting validation instead. That's not love. It all starts with going within, connecting to your hearts. And when you do that, everything in your world changes. Your business gets better, your relationship gets better. If you're single, love will find you because you've become love. Your relationships get better because you're secure in who you are, you're trusting yourself. So therefore you're able to trust others. And a business gets better because you're being authentic, you're connecting with others and they want to be around you and they trust you. And it all comes down to because you love and trust yourself. So
Everything. Yeah,
thank
everything. It just
you.
speaks to me so much because it truly is we so often look for that validation outside of ourselves and we give over our boundaries or don't even create them in the first place. And maybe occasionally we get that validation and that lifts us up, but then we don't get it and then that drops us down and it puts us on an emotional roller coaster based on how somebody else decides to respond to us, and we don't even know what's going on in their world. Maybe they're having a bad day and we take it personally and we crumble over it. And it just shows you that there's just so many variables, right? When you're dealing with another human being, whether it's in a personal or a business, doesn't matter. Um, we need our own stable foundation. And I love that this is basically what your work is. You're helping people root themselves in themselves. And then everything else is sort of like flowers off of that beautiful tree. But you as yourself are the trunk of your experience. So, yeah.
Yes. And so often in business with women, you're trying to do what others are doing. You're like, well, that worked for so and so. I should do that. Or, but I was told I need to do it this way. It's about finding your voice, finding your authentic self, pouring that love from your heart into everything that you do. And when you connect to that, you create magic. The
Yeah.
clients come, everything comes together, the opportunities open up, and
Yes.
things flow. And that's what I'm here to help you with. I'm here to help women Stop saying yes all the time. Start saying yes to you. Connect to your true self and trust in your decisions, in your personal life, in your business life. I'm here to help you manifest the life you truly want. Create a life you wake up to excited, joyful, feeling fulfilled. None of this, oh, but I have to do this today. This doesn't feel good. It's, I get to do this. I'm so
Yes.
fortunate. I'm blessed. I'm grateful. Shifting that perspective, and I get results with my clients extremely quickly.
Yes. Talk to me about energy, because I know that we spoke about this already, and energy is such a big deal, and I think we all of us women pretty much understand what that essence is about, and how when you line up properly things somehow just show up. So can you speak a little bit more to that?
Yes. So, energy wise, when you're vibrating at that high level, when you are focused on gratitude and what's working, it doesn't matter how frustrating your day was. But coming back to gratitude and saying, thank you for this amazing day. Thank you for teaching me this. Thank you for, like, I was doing IT stuff yesterday and getting automation and workflows. And I'm just like, oh, not my thing.
Yeah.
But I got excited. Like, I figured it out. And that's where the gratitude comes in. We're not going to like everything we do, but if you can make it more fun, having fun in the process of your business instead of dreading things to do, the more you connect to it and you love it, the more other people are going to connect to you and value what you do and want to be part of it.
Yes, absolutely. And it's so right what you just said, because I think sometimes we create our dream businesses, right? And we come into we just assume that every moment and every part of it is going to just be blissful because it's from our heart, it's our dream business. And then sometimes women might get a little confused because they don't like certain aspects, and then they'll question themselves, did I choose the right business? And the thing is, yes, you really did, because we'll talk about, you can expand upon the big why, but basically as long as you are in line with your big why, and the majority of your business is, I always like the 80-20 rule, but you get the drift that the majority is joyful to you. The 20% or so that isn't, that's just for anybody and everybody across the board. But what you're saying is having that attitude of gratitude, where you see that it's a privilege that you get even the opportunity to even do something that isn't your cup of tea, is actually still a gift, and it shifts the energy, and you're able to move through it more smoothly, because we all have things in our business that we don't love to do, and that's not going to change,
Yeah.
but our attitudes can change, and that goes along with that whole energy and the big why. So how do you bring your clients to let's say get in touch with their soul and their essence to make sure that they're on track with their big why? Because sometimes if
Yeah.
you are really like the majority, if the majority of your business is painful, then I would suggest that, let's take a new look, and maybe there's something better for you. So how do you help clients when they're a little confused about parts of their business, and they're ready to throw in the towel maybe, and they don't realize that they don't have to be that drastic about it?
Yes. It comes down to knowing your patterns, knowing what you do. Do you self sabotage? Do you get distracted, procrastinate? Are you hard on yourself? Are you constantly looking for the next thing? Or do you not pivot? Do you stay so firm in what you're doing when it's not working? And times change, things change. I've learned pivoting, and there are moments I'm like, why am I pivoting again? But I'm called to, and I trust my heart, I trust my soul, I trust my intuition, and I make the changes because all of a sudden I grow and change and
Yes.
I up level. So I'm working with women who I may not have been working with not long before that, and I have to make the changes in my messaging and shift and things. But I know where the block or obstacle or whatever is holding you back. And that is my gift. So you know within the first session what's going on, and then we're able to tie it all together and look at, okay, where is this pattern going in your life? What's been affecting you for the last 20 plus years? And be able to work with you to clear it out so that you can create new beliefs and be excited about everything.
Yes. How would you help a woman to tap into her intuition? Because sometimes some of us have an easier time doing that, and then some of us don't, and they don't exactly know, like, what are the first couple few steps that if someone's listening to this right now, they could try it out right now in the next 10-15 minutes or so and get a little bit of a start on how that process works.
I love that question. Yes. Oh, trusting your intuition, first starting to listen to it, is connecting to your body.
Mm.
So when you ask yourself a question, and it can be something easy, like, do you want oatmeal or waffles for breakfast? You can ask, do I want oatmeal? Yes or no? And just if you say yes, how does your body feel? Does it feel good to say yes? Or if you say no, does it feel good or bad? You feel it in your throat, in your stomach, in your gut? Like, where do you feel it in your body? Do you get a headache? So this is a way of starting to tune into your body. And when I was doing this early on, that's what I would ask. I would ask each one at a time so that wasn't confused until I got comfortable to know. And you'll know what your body wants to do. And when you learn to listen to your intuition, you'll just be where you're supposed to be. You'll wake up at the right time. You'll leave the house when you're supposed to see the signs and guidance. It's about getting out of your head. And when you get out of your head, feeling into your body, you're connecting to your heart. And when you're connected to your heart, the answers are all there. So when you're sitting there going round and round, frustrated, like, I don't know what to do, I don't know what to do, you do know what to do. Just getting in tune with that part of you.
I love that. That's a really great answer because it allows a simple process to get that started. And then that builds confidence and trusting of ourselves. And I think, excuse me, I think sometimes with our business, maybe it can be a little bit confusing but clear. And you'll understand what I mean by that in a second. Because I want to take this conversation for a moment to relationships. Let's even go specifically to a romantic relationship. Now, there are plenty of women out there that are experiencing fabulous relationships, but then there's also a lot is coming up lately. I have been noticing it quite a lot on, the internet, conversations about narcissistic behavior and relationships where women weren't able to recognize that because it's very creative in the behavior pattern. And so when you know it's sometimes can be a little bit more difficult to be clear in a relationship because you've got your heart entangled in a loving way and a familiarity and a history and memories and the whole 9 yards. However, how can a woman maybe be aware that she may be in a relationship that's not exactly serving her? What are some of the signs, in your opinion, that she should pay more attention to? Not that nobody's perfect. So, we're not talking about the random things that show up for most every relationship, but how can someone be aware if they're in something that is much larger than they bargained for because they don't know how to recognize it because they've never experienced it. They themselves are not narcissistic and they want to trust themselves and they hear little voices, but at the same time it's, oh, but I love this person, I don't want to stop. And I can imagine where business, of course, it's confusing and clear. With relationship, it might be a little bit more difficult to fully own and trust the voices, because that means there's probably going to be some painful moment. And I think women might want to avoid that, especially when there's love involved. So, however, it's a big subject, and we'll just touch on it for a minute because I know that you have a speciality in helping women with this, and I just wanted to get off the business part for just a second so that women know that you can help them in more ways than just in a business focused way. So maybe you can speak to that for just a few minutes before we go into our success questions.
Yeah, so I wrote a book that's on Amazon, Reclaim Your Heart Power, How to Heal Your Heart and Find Personal Power After Narcissistic Abuse. And that has lots of questions in it, reflection questions and actions to take to see where you're at. And there's so many small signs, and it's easy to end up in more than one narcissistic relationship. I know I did. And the signs to look for are, do they love bomb you? Like, do you get so much attention up front that you feel special? You feel so incredibly special. You're like, oh my gosh, you're out with friends, or maybe you're at work, and then you're getting all these messages, and you think, wow, maybe this person is in between like 10 meetings, and you're getting messages the whole time. And you're like, wow, like I'm so cared about. It's it's a sign. It's a big one. And it's one that's so often missed.
Wow, I can see how that's missed because it comes off as so lovely. Like, who doesn't want that nice
I
affection and
know.
attention,
I
right? That is
know.
confusing.
Yeah. Another big one is, are you allowed to shine?
Mm.
Because this is an easy one to test. Talk about something that's going really well in your life that you're proud of yourself for, and then see the reaction. Is it, oh, sweetie, I'm so proud of you. Like, that's amazing. Great job. Like, I love that for you. Or is it like, you need to be humbled? You are thinking too highly of yourself. Like, that's not good. Or is it, you know, he gets frustrated, turned around, just these kind of things, and it turns it back on him. Those are some, those are a couple of really big signs to look out for. They actually come across as pretty subtle unless they
Mhm.
really trigger you. Look for where you're being triggered. Is it
Mm.
emotional? Are you crying a lot? Are you frustrated? Do you not know where you stand? Because
Mm.
that's so common, is not knowing where you stand. Just like, I don't understand this. This is confusing. I walking on eggshells.
Mhm.
Just
Mhm.
that I can't say anything right. I
And
I lived in that for a while. And
it's so confusing when you think about it because you start out getting all the love and affection, and then all of a sudden you're questioning your own identity. So basically, I
yeah,
guess the big picture is, are you confused where you stand? I guess that could be a really big sign if you're,
yeah,
because little spots here and there, like let's say there's a bad moment one day, but then there's 3 weeks of perfection, and then there's two bad moments, and it's hard to like, it seems like it's hard that there's not any one big gigantic thing that makes you say we're done, or we need to separate, or this needs to change, or whatever it might be. And that sounds like the tricky part, that it's so subtle, like you said, that you can almost miss it. And so I think then maybe the clearer sign is when a woman or whomever starts to, because it's not only romantic partnerships, it can be with parents, it can be with friends, it can be with work, it can be
yes,
with everybody. But I think the big thing is not knowing where you stand, because there's a state of confusion. And I think that if that state of confusion is more consistent than not, that's probably a big red flag. So just one more time before we go into success questions, what's the name of your book? So people, if they're interested, along with all the other amazing work that you do, this is a subject that we don't only want to grow and be powerful in ourselves and our businesses. Our relationships are humongous parts of our lives. And sometimes I think we underestimate the power they actually have in how we move in ourselves and in the world. And they're very important to make sure that you got your boundaries in place, your self care, your self intuition, respect, and everything. And I think your book could be a really helpful way for, everybody to kind of get a little bit more aware. So it's in a bigger way about relationships and business, but all of life. So what is the name again so that they know?
Reclaim Your Heart Power: How to Heal Your Heart and Find Personal Power After Narcissistic Abuse.
Great, great. Okay, and then your website, if anyone wants to work with you, where should they find you?
So I have a program website that's tied to that book specifically, and that's reclaimheartpower.com. I have a business site, jenniferlicciardi.com. I also offer a number of programs that are one-on-one and group that aren't on those websites, that are just single pages. So I have Win at Love, I Am Love, free 3-day masterclass, Manifest with Love. So lots of different opportunities to help you. I'm here. I want to support women.
I love that.
We
I
should
love
all
that.
live our best lives.
Absolutely. And it's such a great community in our entire world with women now, because we're all helping and supporting each other and bringing each other up. And I just really love the environment for women now. It's definitely changing so much for the better. And it's the ability for us to give ourselves permission to know and love ourselves, and then come forward to know and love others. And really that energy is so beautiful when the priorities are, and the big why is there. So I love the work that you're doing. It's fantastic.
Thank you so much. Yeah. And it's the why,
Mhm.
if you're asking yourself out there, like, you get frustrated in your relationship, you get frustrated with other people, what's going on? Like, this is something that it comes back internally, and it can be cleaned up quickly so that you can excel in everything you do and in all your relationships.
Yes, yes. Could not agree more. Okay, so now we're going to get into the fun success questions round. And basically, I'm going to ask you some questions, and just feel free to share what comes to your heart. And these are just really beautiful questions that are soulful, and they will definitely inspire anybody who is listening or watching, or just being participating in this. So the first question that I always like to ask is, what is your number one professional tip for women to grow their businesses?
Yes. Being able to connect to your intuition, to your heart, to your soul, trusting in that guidance so that you, as opposed to listening to everyone else, you really do have the answers.
Yeah, I agree. I've come to start to believe that so much more.
Yeah.
Yes, we have to search for answers, no doubt, to gain knowledge and wisdom and growth. But for the bigger things in life, sometimes we don't give ourselves credit, or we pretend that we don't know. And actually, we do know. We're just not ready to see it yet. It's already there, waiting for you to recognize, to receive, and grow with it. It's just a matter of allowing, I think, allowing yourself to see what is already within you. And I think that's really where that beautiful intuition magic happens, right? And that's actually really a great place, because then there's sort of a relief, like, oh, it's already there. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Then I don't have to like do a major efforts outside of myself to necessarily find it. It's already here. So how do I tap into it, right? And that's I love this kind of stuff. So because trust, I mean, there's so many modalities, right? Whether it's gratitude journals, or just journaling, or nature walks, or meditating, or prayer, or paying it forward, service. There's so many different ways for you to find it. But I think, like what you were mentioning before, pay attention to your energy, your feelings, right? Because they really do guide you. And
I
okay,
do.
good, good. How would you describe your formula for success?
Ooh. To be successful is believing in yourself. It's not about the results all the time. It's about taking the steps, doing the things that scare you, trusting that when it's time to pivot, pivot. I mean, that's a big one. And know if you see this big plan for your life, if you trust in that, and no matter where you are today, know that you're already successful. Go back and look at what you've accomplished. Celebrate your wins each day, the small wins. You don't just have to have the big wins, but it's about feeling into that success every day, no matter what that day looked like.
It's funny that you just said that because just this morning, I caught myself sort of future tripping. Okay, I want to accomplish this and I need to do that. Like not
Yeah.
need in a bad way, but I want to do this and this and this and this. And like I could feel myself in a very good way, of course, with all of the energy out there, but I just had accomplished things that arrived me here. And I caught myself that I didn't even stop for a minute to give myself a pat on the back. And I actually
Yeah.
had to stop. It was like I was talking to myself. I said, Tamara, no, I understand you have your future goals. We'll get to that in a minute, but you're going to take 5 minutes now to recognize this past year, the journey you were on, and what you actually accomplished instead of focusing on what you could have done better, what could have been a little bit quicker, a little bit slower, whatever that was. And I did not realize how
Yeah.
fast I want to move through it or not do it at all to give myself credit and just start focusing
On the
into the
next
next thing.
thing. Yeah.
And
Completely understand.
here sometimes we think that, we're like, yeah, I surprised myself. I really did catch myself. And I was like, oh, take care of yourself and give yourself a hug and a high
Yes.
five to yourself. And then when I did take a moment to reflect, I said, wow, I really did, come through some things. I
Yeah.
had a health situation that I overcame. That was a big part of last year. And my business is fantastic. And I had to take a moment to compliment myself. And then what happened is I was already future tripping before I did that. And yeah, I felt good about it. But once I complimented myself, I felt much more powerful. Like, oh, yeah, that future stuff, no problem. I got this. I can do that because look at what I just did. And it was like, even though it was, I had to really push myself to, be aware of my accomplishments and compliment myself. And it was only a matter of like 4 or 5 minutes, maybe, if that, maybe three. It made a world of difference. And so that reflective nature to see, like what you're saying, look at what you've already accomplished. And then it's so important. We need to we're so often quick to compliment everybody else outside of ourselves. And sometimes we put ourselves last. And, that's not good. And I should know this because I'm all about women's empowerment. And then I'm like, hello, let me empower myself for a minute. Right. So,
We're
yeah,
always getting those lessons at,
yeah,
repeat. Like, okay, what are you going to choose this time? And self-care is
yes,
huge. So the more you prioritize yourself, the more you take
yes,
care of you, the more everything in your life flows.
absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. So, another question, what will you never compromise on with your business?
It's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
I have to stay true to me. I know that I've worked with people to help me with my business, and I'd still kind of dig my heels into the ground and be like, okay, I'm listening to what's being said, but like, I'm not going to continue doing that because like there's another program that's more aligned. Or, yes, I'm going to change this. I don't have to have, some will say you have to keep doing it until it's successful. And for me, I disagree. I'm going to go with what is going to be successful because maybe now my energy's changed and I'm not who I was when that was created. And now it's about shifting and changing to what is aligned, what is going to work. Because it's about bringing in the right aligned clients who I'm meant to help.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And, There are those moments when you have to do self-recognition again. Like if you, it's very important to give yourself permission to feel where you're meant to be led, or how you're leading yourself, I should even say. And then you have to be also honest with yourself. Like if we hit one of those spots in our business that we don't love, and you want to make sure your actions are not coming from a place of self-sabotage or something like that. Like when you're ready to change it, it is coming from a knowing, right? Like when you're ready to pivot or something,
Instead
you
of a
just
fear.
know. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. It's like a knowing, but in this positive, beautiful energy. Whereas
Yeah.
this running away or stressed energy. And so there's a real difference. Sometimes you should stick it out and make sure you're not self-sabotaging,
Yes.
but that again comes down to the big why. And like what you're talking about, if you always go back to your big why, is this the purpose, my soul's path? Is this what I'm meant to do? Or have I grown and shifted and now I need to, go? And so like, I think that like the work that you're doing to help someone be self-awareness is
Yeah.
everything. And sometimes it's not the easiest thing, believe it or not. Like you need to catch yourself, because we can so often, our ego gets involved, or we can excuse ourselves and from doing the things that we need to grow in the way that we should be growing. And then there are those moments where we're like, no, that's not it. It's not some sort of block or self-sabotage. I am meant to go in a new direction now because I will serve better in this regard. So yeah, so that actually brings me to kind of sort of my next question is, how can a woman, let's say that there is, she's just in a position to not be able to work with a coach or anything, but she really wants to become more self-aware. Do you have any tips for her that she can do on her own to just start the whole process, get more in touch?
Yes. Oh, journaling what's coming up for you each day, like noticing where are you struggling, like where are you doing well, like where do you feel good. Being aware of both of those areas is going to make a huge difference, because when you're self-aware, you're paying attention to everything, going in as the observer as opposed to going in to the intense emotional, like everything that's coming up for you. It's good to feel your feelings. When you go in as the observer, you can feel your feelings in a more relaxed state, as
Mm,
opposed to playing out the pattern again, to not playing into the drama
yeah.
of the past over and over.
Yeah, I love that. And it kind of just reminded me, because that's kind of what I did today. I came out of myself almost as a secondary person, looking at me as an observer and saying,
Yes.
hello, can we give yourself a compliment before you go on to your next big goals? Can you take 10, 2 minutes for yourself to give yourself a high five? And I really was. And I noticed sometimes that does help get rid of all that emotional stuff. It
Yeah.
kind of puts a stop sign. So you take a pause and notice what you are doing to yourself and how maybe it isn't exactly serving you. And so I love that idea. And then again, like, yeah, pay attention to those feelings and what comes
Yeah.
up for you. And yeah, that's great. That's great. One of my favorite questions I love to ask is, wealthy woman every day, my company is, it's, yes, it's financial wealth, of course, but it's about can't even talk. It's about abundance in all parts of your life and treating yourself like a wealthy woman, because I truly believe that even the littlest things that you do to make yourself, whatever that is, feel a little bit up leveled, all come together and help you become more successful in every area of your life, or a wealthy woman every day. And so it could be the littlest things, like having tea in a beautiful cup, or putting flowers on your desk, or the littlest, making your space tidy instead of disorganized because you feel better about that. So little things. So do you have specific things that you personally make sure that you do for yourself, come high or high water, or hell or high water, that you won't miss on, because you know that it matters to take good care of yourself?
Yes, I meditate. So I'm meditating daily. I've really been good about doing that. I just wake up in that good energy by listening to music that I like. I'll like dance around the house to Sia's Unstoppable, Carrie Underwood's I Am the Champion, just getting in that feel good energy. And when you do that, you just attract so much good in your life. And I always start my morning saying, you know, thank you for this amazing day. I am so grateful for this amazing day. And I end my night with that too. And I focus on what I'm grateful for all day. Like no matter what, even in some of the tough thing moments, okay, what did I learn from this? Like, what is the lesson? What is the gift here?
Mhm.
And that's really changed so much.
I love that. I think one of my favorite sayings when there is a tough scenario, uh, always try and find the silver lining. What is the gift?
Yes.
Absolutely. And one of the best phrases I think I've ever heard, I don't know who coined it, but it is, this is happening for me, not to me. And it's sort of
Yes.
like,
I
oh,
love
it's,
that one.
yeah, it's just so, like, you just feel a sense of peace as soon as you say it out loud. So love this. Okay, if you could, would there be, and maybe there wouldn't, would there be anything about your journey to your business success that you would change if you could go back in time?
Oh, well, everything has moved pretty quickly for me. I mean, I didn't get to share this yet, but I'm guided to. So I moved to Dallas, Texas, and I moved from Northern California Thanksgiving week last year. And I saw signs for a year and a half every day, all day to move to Texas, like Texas license plates in California. You know, I turn on the TV, so and so's moving to Dallas. Oh, so and so just got here from Dallas. Like it was just nonstop Dallas teams playing. Like I couldn't get away from it. Packages
Yeah.
arriving from Dallas. My mortgage company was even like all of them looking back when I was packing my house like 7 years ago, like being switched. It was crazy. Like everything was pointing me there for so long. I just didn't know it. So, with that, paying attention to all of those signs and trusting where you're being guided to. I picked up my little dog and I changed my entire life
I love
for
that.
that.
I love.
And it was powerful. It can
Yes.
be scary too to make the big leaps, but when you can trust that you're being called to do more, to be more, it makes it easier to do that.
Wow, that's amazing. I am so happy for you and your whole new journey, and all that will be part of your new world and all the successes and everything. So,
I
okay, my
couldn't move
final,
quicker. Like I
yeah,
couldn't, I moved quickly, but I had to believe in my self-worth.
yeah,
And
yeah,
when I started early on, I was in a phase of having to prove myself coming from corporate. And
yeah,
so when I had done that, I was keeping myself going in circles for a little while. And I
yeah,
didn't understand it, that, but it was part of my journey.
yeah,
So I don't know if I'd necessarily change it because I feel like I feel so much more gratitude. If it had been too easy, I
yeah,
may not have appreciated it
exactly.
the same way.
Yeah, love that. Perfect answer.
Thank
Absolutely.
you.
Okay, so my last question is, what is your very favorite part of being an entrepreneur?
My favorite part is it's all of it. I mean, I love waking up, being able to work from home, doing calls, you know, Zoom calls with women who I could sit there and I see their lives changing. I see the ahas so quickly, and I see these moments from 2 weeks to 6 weeks, and I'm just blown away that so often I can work with you for 6 weeks and your life changes. You're gonna have a client's marriage that got so much better and they're happy because all the stuff was going on internally with her and it
Yeah,
was spilling out into other things and
yeah,
then spilling into her career and other stuff. And it was like, what if you felt like you were enough? What if, and being able to shift those, what if you stop striving? What if you can be grateful for where you are today? It doesn't mean you don't keep going and doing things. It just means you take the moment to breathe and appreciate where you are. Like we were talking earlier in this
Yes.
interview, and just enjoy the moment, celebrate all of it, and know
Mhm.
that you're going to take the right aligned action steps to get to that next phase. But it doesn't have to be today. Like it's okay to come up for air. It's okay to celebrate. Like I'm going to the gym and I make time to take care of myself because it's easy to get distracted with that. But the better and more I take care of myself, the better I feel. And that results in the clients coming in. It results in things just flowing. Me
Yes.
not getting in my head, but connecting, back to my heart.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that's kind of the whole idea with the wealthy woman habits. It's like do something every day to let you know that you are important to yourself, and it will just improve your confidence, your overall mood, and this just spills out into every area of your life, and it can only help things to be a much more beautiful, smooth, enjoyable it's such a blessing, right? It's that the opportunities and how we choose our attitudes and mindsets, these are choices, and that's where we have that control over ourselves. How can we interpret this? How can we feel our emotions and honor what we're experiencing and do good for others? And by being our better ourselves, we're better for others. And so this is
Yeah.
such a great and important step. Like you're saying, that self-care is so important,
Yeah.
especially when you have clients or children or a spouse, for everybody, because if you are taking good care of yourself, you are absolutely going to take better care of everybody else in your presence. It just happens that way, but it has to start with you. And so, like this woman that you said, she was all up in her own mind in a way that wasn't working and serving her. And it, like you said, it was spilling over into her life and her marriage. And you helped her clear herself and get in a better
Yeah.
position. And then everything helped and improved. So I love this. So, okay, one more time, what is your direct website so that people can find you?
Yeah. So I have reclaimheartpower.com and I have jenniferlicciardi.com. I have my Facebook page, which is at Jennifer Licciardi, and I'm sure we'll have the link on there.
Yes, we will have
And I
all of
have
the
a
links.
Facebook group too. So I have the Love Infusion.
Love it. Love this.
Mhm.
Well, I am so thankful to you because the work that you're doing is so foundational and necessary. And, it's just the way to start the whole process properly, no matter, what experience someone might be going through. We, of course, specifically focus on the woman's business entrepreneurial journey, but it all carries over into every part of our lives, right? All of this. So I just really appreciate you being here and sharing this wisdom and letting women know that there are ways to get in touch and aware and move forward in confidence with that. And yeah, so thank you so much. I
Yeah,
know this
you're
was a beautiful
welcome.
interview.
And
So
I customize programs too. So I
perfect. Because
customize one-on-ones as well, depending on
excellent.
what you need based on a
Yeah,
discovery call.
exactly right. Because you never know. It could be so many different things going on in a person's life at a
Yeah,
specific time. And we sometimes need that guidance and help. And it might not even be related to business and all of the things. So
100%.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, wealthy women. I told you this was going to be another beautiful, beautiful success story interview. Please get in touch. Find out more of who you are and how to be your own best friend and practice gratitude and self-care and know your path and your intuition and your energy. Get it all taken care of. I mean, we spend so much time you know tuning up our cars or cleaning our houses and so forth. Well, hello, we need to take good care and check ourselves on the inside so that everything that we do on the outside is a much more beautiful experience for everybody overall. And the best way to do that is to get in touch with your higher self and get to know yourself well and love yourself and appreciate yourself and help yourself grow in the areas that you need to grow, but be gentle about it. And yes, so I just appreciate this interview so much. So
Thank you, Tamara.
anyway, until the next time, another success story will come your way, but please enjoy this and share it and all those good things and keep following your dreams. And I will see you soon. Bye for now.